Got a quick video for you today on a Nitecore charger and some camera batteries. This is the UNK2, which is a dual slot charger for the EN-EL15 batteries for Nikon. Nitecore sent this in along with two batteries, so what I'm going to do is show you the charger, give you some information on that, and then we'll do some tests on the batteries a bit later on. Pretty simple packaging with this. You do get the user guide. As usual, I put that on screen later on, and this is the charger, very compact in size. Design is very similar to their other camera battery chargers. You'll notice on the side we don't really have that much other than the cable which is built in on the right hand side, and I'll just take that out. What it is a rubberized finish on that, or the whole thing is sort of like a stiff rubber which is flexible with the USB port on the end. It is quite stiff when it goes in, it stays in place quite firmly. Haven't had any problems with this in terms of durability with the other camera battery chargers that I've used and tested. Just peel off the front protective cover and I'll show you what's going on with the display, because there's quite a bit of information on this which is useful or potentially useful. It's quite a clear display, it's fairly obvious to see even in brighter light. We'll just power that up and show you some of the information on the display. The display shows you which slot it's reading, the internal resistance in 3 levels, a 5-stage battery level indicator, voltage and temperature, the charge current in milliamps, and the charge capacity. That last one is quite handy because it will allow you to see the condition of your batteries or get a good idea of how they're holding up over the longer term. When you have two batteries in, you'll see it will alternate between the slot 1 and the slot 2, so it goes through all of the measurements and readings for each one. If you have the full 2 amps input, you can get around about 1 amp or just under charging on each battery, so that's pretty decent charge speed. The two batteries that Nitecore have sent me are their equivalents to the Nikon EN-EL15b. The quoted capacity is a bit higher than the Nikon 15Bs. You notice there's 3 different types of these batteries, and we now are up to the C on the latest one. I will just quickly show you the batteries. The casing is basically identical to the Nikon ones. I haven't seen any issues with fit, or the finish is absolutely fine on these. I did a charge capacity test for both of the Nitecore batteries. Both batteries came in at just over 1900. And the Nikon battery, which is also a new battery, this is only a couple of months old, that came in at just under 2000. You're probably wondering why the numbers are lower than the quoted figures. Because camera batteries have a protection circuit built into the cell, it means they can't fully discharge them. They tend to cut off at around 7 volts or just under. If I was testing the batteries individually, then I'd be able to discharge them to a lower voltage, which would mean I'd be able to get a higher capacity reading. This is very typical of camera batteries, so there's nothing really wrong there. But what was interesting to me was that the Nikon battery wasn't that much higher than the Nitecore batteries. If I am being picky about one area to improve, I would have put a Type-C port on the top of the charger. I've mentioned this before with the other chargers, and I think they're now doing it on some of the models, but it really is a bit awkward sometimes with that short lead. You can use an extender, which I have here, but it's just easier if you could plug in a Type-C cable on the top. That would be quite handy. If the capacity holds up on the Nitecore battery, then I personally don't think there's any particular reason why you should buy the Nikon battery. The Nitecore cells can be around about half the price of the official battery, so I think they offer significantly higher value.